Yeah. Hey, what's up, Shannon? What's going on? What's going on, Sam? What's going on, everybody? Hey, what up, DJ? DJ Smurf from Mendocino. Did I say Mendocino? I meant Mendocino. My nose is a little bit stuffed up. Yep. Let me go ahead and bring you guys up to speed a little bit. Take my face off of here for a second. So, let's see here. Take that off there. There we go. So, as you can see here, these are excess power 993s. I did 6 of them because I wanted to make sure that I had enough amperage for the truck. As you'll see throughout this build, the reason I use so many of those is because I want to make sure if the caddy is operating as normal with its AC and everything completely on, it's able to handle it. Because I had to do this a different way. We got 16 volts coming in from the main alternator, 16.5 I think I did, and I need the truck to see less than 15.7. So that's what we're doing here. And another thing, I wanted to jump into the door panels because this stuff right here is, you know, I like watching it. I can watch this all day long. Let me, you know what? Let me get that 360 out of here. There we go. Sorry about that, you guys. I can watch this stuff all day long, but I know that some of the wiring stuff is a little bit. I don't know if you guys are bored with it or not, but if I jump right into like the door panels like I wanted to do and the mids and highs, some of this stuff won't make sense. You know, it doesn't make sense when you look back and you see things that are done that weren't done. So I kind of have to do it all in order. So I figured we'd run this through real quick. And if you guys have any questions about how I did what I'm doing, let me turn that volume down a little bit. Is the volume on the desktop a little high?
You're probably wondering just what the heck I'm doing. I'm about to show you.
Hey, what up? Shout out to Corey, Erie, PA. So one thing I'm going to try not to do, like I've mentioned in a couple of my other streams, is talk over myself in the video. So I have a bad habit of my other person in the video, me, is talking and then I start talking. It is really confusing. So I'm going to hit pause. It's easier to answer your questions that way if I hit pause. Plus the background noise with the CNC machines and everything else. Just let me know if it's too annoying. I'll turn the video down, the actual video itself down a little bit. Who remembers this? Matter of fact, who doesn't remember any of this? Hit like if this is the first time you're seeing this. What up, Joe? Hey, if anybody said what up to me and I didn't see you, sorry about that. Go ahead and hit me again, because I like to shout you out if you say something. But sometimes I'm watching the video right along with you, trying to soak in some of the stuff that I did. Yep. So we're getting ready to get up on the fiber laser. I'm going to cut this out of aluminum. Okay, here I am apologizing about the CNCs in the video because I'm always self-conscious about that. But, I mean, I have only one shop and my business has to run and I got to do my fun stuff. So what I'm doing here is, if you saw all those 993s that are getting ready to go in, I'm trying to design a bracket to hold them all at the same time underneath the vehicle. And my go-to is always cardboard. I like to cut them out. I like to cut almost everything I do out of cardboard first. That way, I make sure that it's doing what I want it to do. Because you really don't want to be sitting there slicing up aluminum and just guessing on your stuff. I mean, you just want to make sure that it's. I mean, you don't want to be slicing aluminum or acrylic. It's all expensive. Cardboard, I get flat, nice, perfect cardboard off every skid that comes through. And we get a lot of pallets, so That's what I do. So you're going to see cardboard first, and then we'll transfer it over to aluminum once I'm happy. Hey, aloha, Mr. K-Dog. What up, JT? What up, Elvis? What up, Downhill? I don't know, Joe BP. I don't know how long you've been following it. I don't know. But hopefully a long time. Yeah, look, I'm just...
Something like that. Let's see if it works. So I took 3 groups of 2 and bolted them together just for ease of working with stuff so it won't fall apart. And now that I know that they're going to be kind of stable like this, now I'm going to see how they bolt into the little bracket I'm making. So we got this here.
What up, Cannabis? What up, Jason? What up, Royal? So there's no book that teaches you guys how to do this stuff. Teaches me how to do it. This is all freestyle. And, you know, I've been running with this system in my car that you're looking at me build right now in the Escalade for a couple of years now, I think. And it's holding up great. So everything's working. But one of the things that always happens to me is I look back and I go, I wish I would have done it this way instead. Because there's always better ways to do stuff. But once you commit, you got to do it. You know, you got to stick with it unless you're planning on ripping it all apart when you're all done. So committing is one of the hardest things I have, because I don't want to like have an idea and then right in the middle of it be like, oh shit, I should have done it like that. So, but it still happens, but depends on how much better the idea is. Nope, JT, haven't seen him.
Something like that.
Hey, what up, Alaska? I'm going to try to pronounce this guy's name. I don't know if I can or not. Nanai Lupamatasila Panani Mulo Jr. Shout out to Alaska. I hope I said it right. I hope I didn't disrespect. But, I mean, you know, I'm sorry. I try my best.
All right, now that I think this is going to work, let's make it out of metal. Do some aluminum.
Hey, Kenneth, right on, brother. Thank you. All right, so this is my fiber laser that I've owned for 4 years now. It's almost paid off, but yeah, this is my baby right here. Cutting aluminum, steel, all kinds of stuff. I got a good deal on it through Laguna. I bought it used for $100,000, and I'm just about paid off. It's the only machine I don't own. I own every machine in my shop. I own every sticker, every 3D printer, every sticker machine, every laminator. There's nothing in my shop I don't own yet except this one, and I'm almost done. And that was because $100,000, I mean, yeah. I mean, I could pull $100,000 out of my account and hand it to him, but I would rather not do that. So it was easier just to get, it's a business lease. So as soon as I'm done with it, I give him $1 or something like that, and then it's completely mine. So yeah, this is a 1500 watt Laguna, and it cuts things real nice. Just to give you a little background on what you're looking at. All right, Downhill, right on, brother. Thank you for checking in. Hey, how's my voice? Am I screaming a little too loud? These headphones on, sometimes I catch myself talking a little loud. Does it sound like I'm trying too hard? Let me know. Oh, we got Morrison in the motherfucking house. God damn it. Hey, Scythe Morrison's in the house, you guys. Hit like if you know who that is. Well, I hope you get some likes. Oh, I saw a couple. I see a couple. Hey, Brick, I love you, bro, but this is not a political area. Let's not turn it into that. I don't care who you vote for. This ain't the place. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. look at this. Wait till you guys see what this turns into. If you haven't seen it, this is just pure, I don't know where this even comes from in my head when I'm doing this. I have no idea. This is 100% freestyle. You know, I did the cardboard just to make sure I would like the tabs, but I don't think I took the cardboard this far. Oh yeah, you know what? Let me backtrack a little bit. Do you guys see what this is right here? So this isn't just a metal brake. This is a magnetic metal brake. So I bought 2 of these in case I need to do like an 8-foot run. But when I hit the button, this thing runs on 220. So I hit the little foot pedal and it pow, it claps, it slams together and holds it down. So you can do more intricate work with it, and it works out pretty good for the little stuff that I do. And it would do decent stuff as well. I mean, it's not a full-on shot brake, but for the things, you know, for the lightweight metal I do, it works good. It's made by Bally. Can you guys see what's happening now? Starting to take shape a little bit. Keep in mind, this is just coming out of my dome. When I made this, I was just like, if I turn these little flaps, if I laser cut this and I don't cut it all the way, I could turn them into flaps. And that's kind of what I'm doing here. And that's a little bit of my roofing. I did a lot of sheet metal when I was a roofer, so it's a little bit of my roofing background happening right here. Yeah, sorry about the CNC noise, you guys. Hopefully it'll disappear a little bit later in the video. But we're going to run a couple of videos. We're going to be live for about an hour. So it'll come and go. Alright, so I'm going to turn this down a little bit in case I start talking again. So what happens right here is you got voltage coming in through the big red wire, and then you got 2 wires going out. And you can choose between a 1 volt drop and a 1.5 drop. I forget what it is. It's like 2 increments. So you can have a slight voltage drop on the way out, or you can have a bigger voltage drop on the way out. So like the blue wire, if you look close, would be, if I was putting 16 in, the blue one would be 14 out. And then there's an orange one in there, and that one would be, if it was 16 in, it would be, I don't know, 13.5 or 13 out or something. It's a lot more drastic. Elvis, this isn't. Those aren't amps. Those are step down modules. James, I'm gonna stop the video for my boy James right here. So if you own a UB2, one of my products, and you have a broken lid, or even if you've got a scratch on it, or if you've had it for years and it's getting dusty and getting ugly, all you gotta do is hit us up, and I will mail you a new lid on us. No shipping or anything like that. Just hit us up. We'll take care of you. So I know that the UB2 isn't our most expensive product, but it doesn't really matter. If you buy anything, we take care of you for as long as I'm in business. So, like I tell people, if I'm a bum on the railroad tracks and I ain't got if I ain't got nothing but the clothes on my back, then I don't know what to tell you. Then, you know, the warranty is up. But as long as I'm still in business, I got you, man. We'll keep you looking fresh. So I just had to stop the video and tell you guys that. Sales at wccaraudio.com, and just attention Anthony, tell him what you need, we'll get it to you. You know what? We'll do some more of the IDGF.
The wires are not where they're supposed to
Tercel,
go yet.
when I go to do,
I'm
gonna do some more.
Where they need to go soon.
Stop talking during the video, dummy. That's me. I gotta learn how to not talk during my video. So we'll do some IDGAF Toyota Tercel videos later. I plan on doing something fun with that, believe it or not. So a lot of that build is really old and it's irrelevant, and I'm gonna fix it all up and make it fun again. So that's coming up. That will come up soon. So let's hold off on that one for a little bit.
The direction that we're heading. This little top goes right back on.
I'm gonna have a third post. It'll be 16.5 coming in and 14.5-ish coming out. So during this, no problem. The ground's gonna stay the same. Yeah. See, here we go. This is. I'm gonna go ahead and hit pause on this. So during the build, I decided to change it. So I was using an emptied out false battery as like the basis for what I was doing, but I decided to like completely remake the whole thing out of acrylic instead. So you'll see. Yes, sir. Gotta love them lasers. I'm not sure what happened to Ascendant Audio. He had things going on and it wasn't working out. Like something he was doing wasn't in the plans. I don't know. I really don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. Hey, what's good, Atwood 420? Hey, I'm just saying, Chris. As long as I'm in business, you're good. If I ain't got a damn thing, then I don't know what to tell you anymore. So y'all need to keep buying stuff so I can keep doing this. Alright, so if you guys saw me build the box in the most recent little live feed videos, it's this acrylic, this bonding solvent is the same exact thing, except for on a smaller scale. This is 1/8 inch acrylic. So yeah, there's a lot more going on in my Escalade than people think. If you didn't watch the whole build, you're missing on some serious art. This thing is a masterpiece, if I do say so myself. When it's all done, you'll see. Ooh, cut them damn fuses off. We don't need those things. We're doing this a different way. Am I making any more t-shirts? Yeah, I think we will, but we gotta wait until the weather's a little bit different, because the dry weather, my DTF or DTG printing t-shirt printer doesn't like the dry conditions. It wants more humidity. Look at this thing. Someday when I get a bigger shop, I'll have a dedicated room to make the t-shirts in, and I don't have to worry about that anymore. But right now, everything is just out there. I had to replace a $1,200 print head the first month that I got it because it didn't like the humidity, and the company even looked up our they got on the internet and looked at our log to see what was going on, and they saw what the humidity was. That's what they said did it. Fucked up. Ooh, like a glove. Look at that. Quick trip over to the laser, and we got some more cool stuff. Wait till you guys see this. You got this. This thing ain't even built yet. We got this. Ooh. Damn. And a couple of these. Yep. Let's start putting this together real quick. Hey, so yeah, this worked out pretty good. I don't know where I got these fans from. I think I got it off eBay or something. But the fans that I use, they're like Delta 120 millimeter. I accidentally almost cut 2 of my fingers off with it. Those ones ain't like your typical Corsair fans that you have in a computer. Those are like server fans. You will lose a digit. Hey, yeah, run on Atwood. Thank you, man. You can sort of see what's going on here now. It's starting to make a little bit of sense. We got bus bars. This is all attached now. White insert, black trim. Ooh, are we? Now it's time to start pulling these wires. Here we go. Out. Now the artwork is about to happen. Bringing them out to the bars. Stop talking, dummy. Don't talk during the talking. Oh, if you got a system, turn it up because this shit's slapping. I'm gonna turn it up for you. Yeah, these Skull Crusher AMCs. My head is fucking throbbing right now. I mean, it's water resistant enough. It's a lot of work, I'm telling you.
Power in, power out.
Yeah, we've got a book coming out. He's no longer with us. He passed, what, 9 years ago? And he's got an autobiography coming out in July. Hell yeah. Ronnie, please give me a reason to find out if I can still read.
Shit, we're still not done with this box. This box is only about halfway done. I have them SMD 500 amp ceramics. Right on. Cool. We got them up to 600 amps too, if you didn't know that. And I got a whole different design of those coming out as well. Like 5 minutes after I came out with my ceramic fuses, like 5 other companies did the same thing. I mean, I'm not the first one to do ceramic, but I'm talking about in the car audio community. It's like, alright, I see how it is. It's all good though. Woo! Hey, we gotta dress it up. We gotta make it look good. We can't just throw it in there. Hey, look, there's Miss Mead right there in the background getting her job done. Hey, thank you, Atwood. Oh, yeah, here we go. A little bit of carbon fiber, a little bit of... Now, I drew that. Look at that. That carbon fiber pattern, if it's not really showing that well on the screen. It might here after I move it around a little bit, but I sat and drew that on the computer. I drew that pattern, and then the way that I cut it with I do an etch, which is a scan back and forth, and I do a carve on that pattern. So when you look at it, it's got texture to it. So it's not just burned in, it's colored in, and it's got like a single line etch to it, and it gives it that illusion of being carbon fiber. So yeah, if you look right here, you can see, I'll fast forward that a little bit. Yeah, right there. Oh, there it was. Anyways, you can see what it turns into. Details, details. Every little letter, every little thing has its own individual. I got them from us. We're actually an excess power dealer, so I just order them. There's the pattern again right there. Just to give it a little bit of flavor. This is the output side of this step down box. You'll see, like I said, this box is only about halfway done right now, you guys. Isn't that nice? I use a lot of parts, if you didn't notice. I use a lot of parts for my fuse holders and my distro blocks because I have so many different bars that go into all the products that we make that when I want to make something custom, I just look at all those bars and be like, I just build around that. So what you're looking at here is like a double XL2 fuse block, but I just took the input side and used it for a output block. So that's what's happening here. And the 2 bars on the top are from Octo blocks, standard fuse blocks. Yes, sir, Elvis. If you look, you see that carbon fiber pattern. I'm sure it'll show later on when I start testing. Yeah, you can see it a little bit right here. And this shit is stuff that nobody ever sees because it's underneath the vehicle. I mounted this under the hood. Actually, like, under the engine or in the front. If you know, you know where it's at. Underneath the what do you call it? That one thing. the little splash pan in the front. Okay, so when you look at this big Delta fan, okay, there's a vent on this side, on the left-hand side, and that huge fan is on the other side. Now, I didn't blow air in because I didn't want a bunch of air blowing in and hitting that first 993 step down and then just kind of dissipating throughout the box. That fan is actually pulling air out. So it's pulling air through the one side, circulating through, and then pulling it out. And it seemed to work pretty good. It's I would like to enhance it and make it a little bit, what's it called when you have an airplane that has like a backup plan in case the landing gear won't go down? You know, I would like to have like a backup plan in case somehow that fan gets roughed up a little bit. I'll have a secondary fan to keep it cool. That's one of the regrets that I have with this. Even though it works great, redundancy, I guess you would call it. Yeah, Ashnell, redundancy. So I am going to get it to the shop and get it on the lift and put in a little bit of redundancy to help out. Because this thing did turn out great. It worked great, as you'll see if you watch the videos. But it's still working great. It's just when it's 110 degrees out and I'm driving my truck with the AC on and all that stuff, if that fan goes out that's cooling these down, that's going to be a problem. Hasn't happened yet, but that's why I want a little bit of that redundancy.
Much better.
Ooh,
much
she's
better.
sexy though, I'll tell you what. Hey, what up, Salvador?
Now we're just gonna pop the lid on and call this project
Ha!
done.
Nope, sorry, Josh. That thing's opening and closing the main gate to my property right now. There's a little bit of that carbon fiber. It's fake carbon fiber.
Just like that.
Yeah, there it is on the excess power again.
Now I guess all that's left to do is to put a little load on it, put a little bit of juice in it, and see if it works.
Thank you, Salvador.
test what's coming out of this battery, what the Escalade thinks it's going to be getting.
Yep. Okay, so this is actually the input side. I called it the output side. I called this the output side for some reason while I was talking to you guys a minute ago. But this is actually the input side. So from the MechMan 400, it's regulated at 16.5, and it goes into this block, goes into the wiring system, and comes out of the top of the battery or the top of the box, and then from there it goes up to the lithium battery that's underneath the hood and charges that. So the car is on regular power. It thinks it's doing regular things, but the actual system is on 16.5 volts. And I could take it up a lot higher than that. It's just that my amps themselves don't like being any higher than 16.4, 16.5. So if they did like being up there, I could charge at 19 in the back, or 18, I'm sorry, even 19 if I wanted to, but I could do 18 in the back. And, well, those are 14 volt batteries, so I would want to probably like stick to around 17 volts on those. But if I was doing a 16 volt system, I could charge at 18, 19 volts, and then up front have something totally different. So that is the whole purpose of this right here. It's water resistant, but it doesn't matter. I don't drive my caddy in the rain. Let's be real here. I could if I wanted to, and it wouldn't hurt nothing. I mean, if the fins got wet, it wouldn't matter. All they do is stay cooler. But yeah, for the most part, it's mostly water. I mean, you wouldn't want to throw it in the pool.
Now I have more to do before this thing is ready to go in the vehicle. If for real, it has to be on this bench, and I gotta put a load on it. I'm gonna make it nice and toasty and see how long it lasts. See if it does good. See if I can keep it under control.
So what I'm about to do right now for the next little bit is a lot of testing, because one thing I don't want to do is just throw it in the truck and hope it does good and then have a problem. So I spent a lot of time making sure this box could cool itself down. You're going to see in the video as I'm going that I hooked up a 12,000 watt sound digital amp to it, and I just tortured it, made it get hot, and then I'd cool it down. I'd make it get hot and I'd cool it down, and just make sure it all works. So that's what we're doing here.
With this fan, I'm hoping that all the work I put into it will pay off.
Hold on.
You never know. These things are made to make heat. That's what they do. That's all they do.
He said it never rains in California. It rains here and it snows here and everything else, but I don't drive my caddy in the rain. I could if I wanted to. I really, really could. This would not be affected at all. But I don't prefer to. I have other cars for that.
If I can keep that
Later, Ron.
I think I'll be good, but only one way to find out. Start with the bench way before the caddy. Time to clear off the bench a little bit and find something to load this down with. And just let it go for a while. That's all I really can do for right now. Sound Digital Evo 12,000.1. We'll throw this on the 81 down here and just load it down.
Yep.
See how it does. Alright, we got the 12,000D hooked up. Just being on, this thing's pulling a couple of amps. And we got some base mechanic.
Oh yeah. Now I'm running this through that box, you guys. I'm trying to get that box hot right now. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
So I'm gonna put it on the 81, and we're gonna put it on a dummy load, and just warm everything up and see what happens. And then once it warms up, I'm gonna cool it back down again. See if that
Basically, I'm not going to use speakers because they're being too loud and I have neighbors. If I want to load this thing down and not piss everybody off, including my landlord, to go ahead and throw it on the 81, which is a load bank in itself. So that's how I ended up torture testing.
Oh, look at that, 87.
I don't think so, Ron. As long as your box is not leaking air and it's built properly, it shouldn't really matter. No.
Cool. We get them nice and
Later, Blake.
I'm gonna cool them back down again with the fan. See if that even works. Let's put it on this thing. So I got this thing just cruising at 135. We're at 4.
Okay, so 135 amps. I don't know how much the cat. I don't remember. I'm sure I mentioned it somewhere in this video, but I mean, 150, 160 amps at the most from the caddy, just on the hottest day with the heated seats going and the AC and everything that caddy can do, minus the system. Forget the system; it's on a separate setup. But the caddy is getting everything through this box, so it needs to have enough amperage to work and not melt that box down with those step downs. You know what I'm saying? So I need to make sure that I'm getting the amperage it wants, I can deliver it, and I'm able to keep those cool, because that's their only job, is to get hot. Those things, that's how they step down. They dissipate. They get hot. They make heat. So.
And we're pushing about 1,560 watts. Oh, it'll do a lot more than that.
All right, so Kevin is asking me why 2 different voltages in the Escalade, and the reason is because I got 4 Demore Engineering Class A/AB. They're A series amps, like some of the best shit money can buy, but they're Class AB in a car is power hungry, and even though his amps are they're actually pretty efficient for what they are, I wanted to give. I mean, they're 4 1,500 watt amps, and they each will do on their best day a little over 3,000 watts. I just wanted to give those amps in the back a fighting chance to make as much power as I wanted them to have great voltage. I didn't want to have 14.5 volts, and then every time I turn the volume up, I'm sucking it down into the 12s. I'd rather it be in the 16s and suck it down into the 14.5s or the 15s. And that way, no matter what, it always had enough juice to do what it wants to do. So that was the thinking in my head when I did it. But when it's all said and done, I really should have just left it in a 14-volt system, or a 12-volt system that charges at 14, and not done all this. This was fun to do, but I don't know if it was worth all the effort, other than the fun part. It's a lot more of a headache, because now my caddy, I have to worry about redundancy. I wouldn't have to worry about this fan and these step-down modules had I not done that to myself. But, hey, it's YouTube, and you got to do fun stuff, and you got to go over the top, do things nobody else has done before. So, it's what we're doing.
But I'm trying to put a load on this step-down bank. I'm not trying to win any contest. Alright, so it's been on for about, I don't know, 10 minutes.
So this one back here, the fan is on the other side, and it's pulling air in through here, through this hole on this side. So I'm not testing the fin that's really close to the fan. I'm as far away from it as I can get. So it's seeming to do what it's supposed to do so far.
It's about 120 up in here. I'm gonna turn the fans on and see if I can bring it back down.
Hey, don't fall asleep, Corey. We're getting to the good stuff. Later, Josh.
It's warming up though, I'll tell you what. We're still pushing 134 amps. And we're on repeat, 40 hertz. We're about 120 and climbing. Let me cool it down real quick and see if this fan helps at all. Alright, that fan is on. It's blowing hard. It's actually sucking air out of the chamber, not pushing it in. And yeah, this thing was up near 130 a second ago, and it's already dropped down like crazy.
Right on, Shannon.
I like it a lot.
Hey, what up, Cordell?
I'm gonna take the fan back
What's
on.
happening from Cali? Yeah,
Fan's
so this is
off.
all the testing. And I'm just sitting there, look at this shit, you guys. I got that Sound Digital amp just sitting at 40 hertz. It's a 12,000 watt amp. I don't have it maxed out. I'm just slowly like watching the amperage, watching the heat, and seeing what it does. The main object is to make sure that I can cool these things down. I'm not going to pull the 12K through this box when the build is done. The forward to more engineering amps are going to happen before this box. This box is only for the Escalade, for the vehicle. So only thing I'm trying to do is just get the box hot. And yeah, straight 40 hertz for however long.
All right, now I got this thing pushed up to about 166 amps. Try to warm this thing back up again. Pop the fans back on. 137. I can feel a lot of heat coming out of this chamber, so that fan is definitely working. Before I sit here and torture this thing all day long and torture my dyno, I'm going to take my clamp out to the truck and turn on all my accessories and see what kind of amperage it's actually pulling.
YB, the amps are getting the original 16.5 volts, and then that same 16.5 is connected to the step down, and out of the step down is the 12 volt system, and that system is running just the vehicle all by itself.
What I have to test this at, and then I'll overdo it a little bit more than that. But I don't think it's doing 166 on the track. I mean, this is literally a minute after I just got done showing you guys the other stuff. Fan's definitely working. If you didn't know by now, this is the vehicle and stuff's going in. So let's find out how much juice it needs, and then I'll test that step down box at that amperage, maybe a little bit more, and we'll see how it does.
Oh wait, hey El Loco, wait. Oh, I'm about to get that thing hot.
So we'll put this right around the alternator's positive wire. That's where all the juice.
I'm gonna have it at like 200 degrees later.
We had nothing pretty much. Brandon, you want to start this truck up for me? Okay, so this is upside down. I'll have to read it to you if you don't know how to read upside down. Go ahead, Brando, fire it up. All right, so what do we have? I have 54 amps with nothing really on. The radio might be playing a little bit, but it's not up very loud. So, 54 amps. All right, Brando, go ahead, pop those lights.
Watch what happens as you start turning things on the caddy. This is why I had to make sure that box can handle whatever.
Turn it all the way to the right. Okay, so 56.
The lights ain't shit though; they're LEDs.
56 amps. All right, now we're turning the air conditioner on all the way front and back.
You're all good, Sean. Keep in mind, I don't have the 16 volt system going yet. That's just a matter of turning the regulator up. But that box isn't in yet, so I'm still sitting at 12 volts in the caddy, 12 to 14 volts. I'm just trying to see what the car is going to demand from that box. So we're doing seats, we're doing AC, we're doing fans, everything. We're going to get this thing pulling. Now remember, it was 56 amps, right? Look at that.
Okay, just give it some gas. Heated seats on, AC front and rear. Bring it up to like 2,000. Everything on
Mech Man ain't even tripping, Joe Mama.
On right now. All right. Well, I guess if I pop that thing on about 115 to 120 and just let it go, let it self-cool, let it do what it's gonna do, I'll know if it's gonna work or not. Or at least I think I'll know. So now that I know that 120 is kind of on the high side, let's go ahead and put it at about 125 to 130 and just let it go. Cool it, heat it, cool it, heat it, just heat it. See what happens. So here we are back at the bench. We're pushing a nice 126. It's higher than anything that was in the caddy. All the stock stuff anyways. And we're just gonna keep our eye on it. Gonna watch the
That may or may not have been with the rear AC on as well. I don't remember if I did the rear AC. Because it'll pull a little bit more than 130, I think.
So 117.
Fans working.
Alright, it's been a little bit. My 81 is at 153 degrees. We're still pushing some juice.
Fans are on. And that's the last one in the chain, or the first one, I should say.
Okay, set the chamber a little bit higher. See, it's blowing a little bit. It's cooling down. It's self-cooling, but it's barely turning.
Okay,
right
so
now.
the TM1 that you're about to see, if you're not familiar with it, I have one of those on this fan, and that is because I don't want to turn the caddy on and immediately the fan is full blast. You're not really going to hear it because it's outside the vehicle, but it doesn't need to be on full blast. If I get in the truck and I drive down the street and back, it's not even hot. It's not even sweating yet, so I don't need that Delta fan just blowing at 100%. So the TM1 is programmable, and you can set your temperature where you want to start rolling in at. So if that chamber gets to about 80 degrees and I want the fan to kick on right around 80, it'll roll in from 0 to 100% from between 80 and like 100, or actually before 80. If you set it to 80, it'll be at 100% at 80. So wait a minute. You set it to 80, it's going to kick on to 80 and slowly ramp itself up. I'm all confused about my own products. Anyways, it rolls in. It doesn't just turn on 100%. So as it's cooling itself down, it's slowing itself back down again. And once you get below your threshold, which would be, like say you chose 80, once you get below that, it starts hitting the 70 mark, 75 or so, it's going to kick off. So it's going to roll in, it's going to roll out. But it's never going to be 100% unless it's really hot out, which it does, and it does well. So the hottest I've ever gotten this thing in the summer while I was driving around with it, just to fast forward, because right now I've been using it. When it's super hot out, I've gotten it past 150, 160. And it pretty much stays there. And that's when I'm parked, like sitting at a stoplight, and I'm just nothing but hot pavement. You get up on the freeway, even on the hottest day, and it cools back down to about 140 in there. So it's still hot, but that's not in the red or the yellow zone yet. This thing goes up to like 200 or something like that, which you'll see soon.
Let's crank this thing up until it does what it's supposed to do. All right, let's crank it up. Okay, here we go. All right, 123 amps. Fan's not even turning at all. Everything's automated, so give that a little bit more juice, make that chamber.
YB, I believe, right around 200 at the surface of those heat sinks is about the limit on them.
We'll put 155 amps through that bitch.
155 amps. Now watch, the temperature's going to start rising on the SMD.
I don't know if you can see that or not. 155.2. Fan's turning. It's going to blow a lot faster once it reaches its 100% mark. Yeah, it's barely turning.
Yeah, you pop the back of that TM1 off, and then you tell it what temperature you want the fans to start at.
I mean, I'm having a hard time getting that fan up to 100% because
Yep.
it's cooling the chamber down. So I'm going to disconnect this
So,
fan for a second.
what's happening on my bench, if you didn't catch what I just said, is that that fan is working so good that it's barely turning. It's probably at like 25 or 30%, and it's cooling it down so fast that I can't get the temperature up in there. So what I'm going to do here in a second is I'm going to disconnect the TM1 and the fan, or I'm actually going to disconnect just the fan so you can so you can still read the temperature, but the fan is going to be disconnected. That way you can actually see it climb, and then I'm going to hook the fan up, and from there you're going to watch it cool down as fast as it can. And that's the whole goal, to see what happens when this thing gets really hot.
Let it warm up in there. There we go.
I'm pretty sure I hooked the TM1 back up at some point so you can see it.
So I'm getting some pretty good readings. About 120 degrees in the chamber. Let's see if it'll cool down. Oh yeah.
So you can see it cooling down. Yeah, the fan should be pretty high right now. And I'm still pulling 150 amps through it. So I'm cooling it down while I'm still pushing.
Degrees on the amp dyno.
Yeah, I'm heating up my load banks like a motherfucker.
As you see, the fan's full speed, blowing the paper off of it pretty much, and we're cooling down. We were at 130 when I popped those fans back on.
No, we're gonna
20-degree reduction in heat in just a minute.
hang on to your trousers, guys. We're gonna bring this thing up to like 220 or something like that. We're gonna peg it all the way to the red and do it again. I think it's going to be in this video. If not, it's the next video, which we're going to run. If I get enough hearts right now, we'll run the second one. If not, I'm quitting for the night.
You can feel that. And once this thing cools down, the fans should slow down to nothing and shut off. That's the beauty of the TM1. Alright, enough playing around. One more ultimate torture test before I'm convinced. Let's get this TM1 into the red. Let's get it into the 200 range or higher, and then see how fast we can cool this thing down. Oh man, I'm scared. Here we go. We're gonna turn this back on. Put some amperage into the box.
It's a pretty good torture test for the amp too, to be honest, because it's just sitting there, just going 40 hertz.
So we turn that up to about 120 amps just to see how quickly we can get it up there.
And you guys can hear the 40 hertz coming through, but the reason you can hear the 40 hertz actually coming through is the mids and highs are still hooked up to the amp, or to the head unit. The head unit's got its high level outs, and I use those sometimes just so when I'm making videos on a bass amp, you can hear what's happening on the high end, even if I don't have a 4-channel in there. So you're hearing 40 hertz coming through those 6.5s. But there's actually no subs hooked up. It's going straight to the load bank.
This time I'm not going to turn it back on until it hits the red.
All right, here we go. Let's heat this bad boy up.
Might take a minute, so I'm going to fast forward through this. As you can see, 122 amps. So I gotta be honest, the reason why I'm doing this ultimate torture test is because I accidentally knocked the TM1 off the power source a little bit ago. And when I did that, that means no fan. Well, this thing was torture testing while I was over there doing something else with no fan on. And I came back and it was in the red, all the way in the 220s. So I turned the fan on and watched how fast it cooled down. So I figured, you know what? We're gonna reenact this and do it one more time. Watch this thing. Watch how fast this box cools down.
Hey, you gotta love having a dog hair right in the middle of my... Or is that a scratch?
It's getting hot in there.
Ooh, look at that thing. Look how hot it is in there, you guys. And that's not on the heatsink. That's just, that temperature sensor is just in the box. It's floating like in the box.
210. As soon as that thing hits 220, I'm turning on the fan.
Hey, it's scary.
Come on,
It's hot.
220. Oh, it's hot in there. I can feel
I
it.
never got the email, Baseman.
Without the fan.
Unless you just sent it. I checked for it.
Oh, here we go. We're cooling it down, you guys.
Here we go, you guys. Watch this shit.
Going down fast.
Hey, Arthur, that's why I'm doing this. Because I like to go back and check it out myself. But then people have questions, and I also like explaining.
Still pushing 115 point.
Look how quickly
Back in the blue.
160 from 220, just like that, and we're not done yet.
Yeah, it's blowing so hard right now. We're gonna bring it all the way to 100. So it's gonna be a 120 degree difference.
So that fan sucked out 120 degrees worth of air in a matter of minutes. And it never is supposed to get to 220. On the hottest day, 170. So far is what I've experienced.
So now it's 110 degrees cooler than what it was. Trying to hit that 100 mark.
What do the heat sinks look like? You gotta rewind the video, you'll see. I showed everything from start to finish.
Degree difference, just like that. Gotta give up love to this Sound Digital amp. I mean, continuous 40 hertz all afternoon. I've only turned it down a couple times to let the 81 cool down. And yeah, we're at 190, 191. Oh yeah, I'm shutting it down. Yeah, that's way too much. I don't want to do it. I don't want to break it, even though 200's okay and supposedly it will shut itself off. I don't want to do that though.
Yeah, my 81 was trying to cool down.
So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and pause that for a little bit. Whoop. Yeah, we're done with that.
Hey, we're getting close to the end. Who wants to run one more video? Let me get some hearts. Let me get some likes. We're gonna run another one. Keep this going so we can keep it all in order. Look at that, 91 degrees. Cooling all that shit.
So I'm gonna spend the rest of the day torturing this, make sure that it's cooling down. But right now, I think I'm good to put it in the vehicle. But I got other stuff to do before that happens, like put the new alternator in and get the external regulator working. That's gonna be coming up real soon. So, thanks for watching.
You ready, Shannon?
Until the next time, I'm out of here. Yeah.
Yep, turn them notifications on. Most of you guys ain't even seeing that a new video's up. I hear it all the time. I didn't even know. When are you gonna put up a new video? It's like I put up 4. Yeah. It's all fun. Alright, round 2, let's go. That one started somewhere in the middle, but that's because I was going through it a little bit. Here we go. Shout out to Sky High Car Audio. The More Engineering, Tony and Juan. MacMan, my favorite, you know the deal. Excess Power, of course. Hey, I got some new stuff coming, Richie. It'll all make sense real soon. Yeah, so this is the fun part. Anytime that I want to mess with this MechMan alternator, and the alternator's in a pretty easy spot, for most people, it's not for me. I got to pull all these turbo pipes off to get to it. So I would definitely run. Gately Audio has a new triple alternator for this same engine. I would definitely run a triple or a double alternator in here and get rid of that box if I had a chance. That step down box, if I was able to do this and I didn't have the turbos, I would definitely have two alternators. One running the car, one running the amps back there. But there's no room with all these pipes to put a second alternator, or definitely not a third for sure. So you see what I got to do every time. Oh yeah, I took my original alternator out and I put one of the new ones that I laser etch. Because you know I do all the laser etching now and have for about 3 or 4 years maybe. He said run a supercharger. Hold on a second. Why in God's green earth would I run a supercharger when I've got twin turbo 1,000 horsepower fully built engine sitting here? No hate on a supercharger, but you're looking at twin turbo. No. I like me a supercharger for sure. I'll probably supercharge the Tahoe at some point. Hey, you know what, Charles? It is what it is. It hasn't so far. Yeah. I think I ended up going with this 370. I ended up doing a 400 later. There's a 400 in there right now. He said dirty engine bay. Hey, thanks a lot for pointing out my dirty engine bay. Let's see yours. This one's actually not that bad, really. It's a little dusty, but my engine bay is not dirty at all. You can work on it and barely get your hands dirty. But a little bit of dust, I mean, hey, if you want to come dust it off for me, you can. Yeah, if you guys look at the whole playlist, which should be in the description for this video, you can see all the turbos getting done as well. When I got them, they were all aluminum and steel. I had everything powder coated. I had my headers ceramic coated. So everything's all done up, and it was done like this on purpose. I knew everything was going to be white and black. My engine bay ain't that fucking dirty. Most of you guys have way dirtier engine compartments than me. Especially the guy that just said that. Guaranteed. But I also drive my trucks too. I don't drive it as much as I used to, but at the time this was taken, this is my daily. I drove this thing everywhere. Powder coat guy must be blind. Came out like shit. Dude, I think you came out like shit. Your parents must be so proud of you. God damn, what a loser. Get this guy out of here. Bye. How do we get rid of this guy, man? This is all good vibes in here. I don't need nobody being a tryhard and trying to talk some shit. Hide user on this channel. Alright, we'll see you, dude. Keep everything cool, and we'll all get along fine. I mean, if you want to joke around a little bit and poke at me a little, I can poke right back, and it's all fun. But if you want to run your mouth, then then you're just gonna have to go. There is no short story on the tuning. There's a lot of time spent on it. The ceramic coating holds up real good, and it's not ceramic coated like my paint job is. It's actual ceramic like paint, so I don't have to wrap my my headers with any of that cloth shit, any of that heat cloth. It helps keep the heat out of the engine compartment. It's all good. He's gone now.
Sunday morning, I'm over here at the shop. Got some
Casey Kasem.
American Top 40 on the radio. I got a little bit more work to do over here. I just want to give everybody the update because I know you're probably like, what's going on? It's been 10 days. Well, I have been working, but I have so much testing to do that it's really not nothing that I can show on video. I'll show you what I'm doing right now, but it's been 2 days solid of testing to make sure that everything works before I actually put it in the vehicle. I don't want to get in the vehicle and then have problems and then regret doing this. I want to make sure that it's all great. I plop it in, it's going to stay great. So if you want to see what I'm up to, let's go.
Okay, so we're here to ask me anything. That's what AMA stands for. And you know, when I see questions, I'm going to try to stop so I don't talk over myself and answer. But how does paralleling batteries work? Is there some type of process to hook up two batteries together? No. You just hook them up together. You're good to go. You know, if you have two batteries, you want them to be the same battery. Like I mean, you can hook up a different battery if you want to, but for the most part, the same battery, the same age, the same lot number, whatever, like close to the same everything if you can. You can hook up as many as you want. Just parallel is fine. But you know, people hook up lithium to AGM, and there's different types of batteries that will work with each other. But I don't. For me personally, I would always keep the same exact batteries with each other, because I wouldn't want one battery pulling the other ones down. That's what will happen. If you have one of them that's a little bit different than the others, they'll all be whatever that one is.
Channel and the things that I've been posting. Here's pretty much the rundown of what's been happening. Alright, we got this over here. We got the new MechMan alternator in. It's actually working pretty good. The factory plug has to be popped out, and since I'm running an external regulator, which I shoved right over there, it's got its own field wire and everything else, so I will end up with a battery light.
Okay, I'm going to back this up a little bit.
Shut that off. But the battery light is pretty tame in this truck. My instrument cluster is
okay, so the battery light has already been taken care of. Just to let you know before you tell me what I need to do. It's already done. I fixed it. All you really have to do is short that plug out, and that's what I did. No battery light on my dash at all anymore.
All one big screen, so when the battery light is on, it's not really like a big light bulb in front of my face going battery light. It's just like a little thing in the corner. You can't even really tell it's there. So I think I can probably deal with that until I figure out how to shut it off. If I have to deal with it until I make this thing stock again, well, then I guess I'll do that too. But anyhow, this is what else is going on. So I realized I'm probably going to have a 12-volt battery somewhere in here to support my starter and everything else, because I don't want to pull the starter through the box. It can handle it, but it's not really good for it. You can tell that it's struggling a little bit through it. So we're going to leave a 12-volt battery in this spot. I'm actually going to get the Titan 8 4800, the stock size battery for this, but it's lithium, and it's going to go in this spot. So I'm taking this out, putting the lithium in, and I'll have a 12-volt source. Everything else on that rack, there's 5 14-volt batteries that charge at 16.XX, 16.2, 16.3 is what I'm probably going to be shooting for. So 12-volt battery that charges at 14 plus, 14-volt batteries that charge.
Okay, I'm stopping this video to answer Anthony. See, now this right here is the #1 reason why I'm running through these videos. Some of you guys already know about what you're looking at, but there's a fraction of the people out there that don't know anything about what I did, and then they'll still ask me. So these are for people that, like Anthony, if you really want to know, then stay tuned and you'll see, because I'm going to run through this and explain everything. The videos are already there if you want to go into my channel, into my playlist. I believe that the link is there, so you can like look and see for yourself. But the door panels were done, and all the wiring for the doors. He's asking me, why didn't you show how you wired the door speakers? Did you rewire all the door speakers? I mean, if you actually watched the video series, you would know that. And if you haven't yet, then here I am to show you. We're not there yet. On the live Ask Me Anything, we're not there yet. But if you really want to find out, you can just fast forward in the playlist itself, and you can see all that for yourself. It's all, yes, I did rewire the doors, and I showed all the wires. And the step-down box, unfortunately, I'm going to have to move it somewhere else. And it's no problem, I don't mind. I got a couple good spots planned. In the past week, I've also done other testing. I ran a temperature sensor into the engine compartment, and I stuck the probe right there in the corner where the air intake
for that step down module would be at about 70 degrees outside, sitting still for 15-20 minutes. It rose up to about 100 degrees in there. As soon as I took off, it went straight back down to 70 degrees, and it was actually trying to go a little cooler than that. So I was a little bit surprised, but I do
Not
live in
anymore.
Sacramento, so it gets to be over 100 degrees in the summertime, 115 at times. So I'm not so sure I like that area for the heat. I'm pretty sure I could do something about it if I really wanted
The
to
very
fix the
first
issue.
idea that I was going to do was this step down box that you watched me build was going to go in the factory spot, and I was going to delete the battery and just put that in its spot. But I realized that I think a 12 volt battery in the car and then just letting it get its charge through the box was a better idea, just because I wanted a little buffer in between. So that's kind of the idea of the reason why I did it the way I did it. And you're going to see I went from having it underneath the hood to actually putting it underneath the very front of the car.
I could probably cool it down. In fact, I even thought about water cooling it somehow, and that sounds like a fun little project, but I ain't got time for all that. I just want this working. So I'm gonna have a badass 12 volt lithium battery from Excess Power. It's gonna match the ones in the back, other than it's 12 volts and those are 14 volts. And I'm gonna stash that box somewhere. So as far as cooling is concerned, this thing is a success. It keeps itself nice and cool.
Okay, so if you guys don't know, if you're new to car audio and you're not familiar with voltages, a 12 volt system is pretty much what you have in your car stock. It probably charges at 13.5 to 14.5, maybe even 15. Okay, so you have a 12 volt battery, let's just say charge at 14.5, like most of them do. But a 14 volt battery needs to charge between 16 and 17 volts or something like that. So that's why when you hear me say a 12 volt system, I'm talking about regular batteries. 14 volts, you're stepping it up a couple of volts. And I'm charging a little higher than that.
I'll show you what I was doing during testing, but as long as I'm not adding any extra heat, any crazy heat like the engine compartment, and I do have twin turbos in here, the pipes are ceramic coated, so it's okay. It's not going to be as hot as it could be, but it's still hot. So I'm going to move this either to the back underneath the vehicle, or I got a big hollow spot up front, and I'm leaning towards the front. So what I did was I bypassed the positive wire that used to go to the 12 volt battery. Now it's going up over the fender, and it's going to the back of the block on the drop down box. From there, I got another positive wire that's going to go to the back of the vehicle, and that's going to charge the 14 volt batteries at 16.3 or so. So the truck is going to be set at 16.3 right now, mimicking what's going to happen once it's in the vehicle. But after it goes through this block, if you watch my last video, you'll see how this works. It's going to come out of the top, which is right here, and then it's going to go back to the vehicle itself.
This is some serious
now
testing.
The truck thinks it's getting that alternator without the step down, but it's step down. Of course, I got other wires here too as well. I got relays, I got the external regulator. It's completely rigged up.
I'm basically gonna run all this testing outside the vehicle, sort of like a kidney dialysis machine. My life support is outside the vehicle, but I'm making sure before I touch anything that all this shit's actually gonna work.
It's all working, and I'm happy. It's gonna be super nice, but we're so rigged up right now, it's crazy. I got a positive wire right
don't
here.
do that, Anthony.
This one right here is going through the relay, and that's what's turning the regulator.
Yeah, Anthony, I could have told you. You should have hit Uncle Steve up. I'll tell you what happens at 15. Talk about your butthole puckering. When you hit 15.7 and your AC shuts off and all the dash lights and everything, you're like, oh, shit. But you turn it back down and it comes back on. You're like, I don't want to do that again. So, yeah. My Tahoe charges at 17. The whole truck don't even care. But the Escalade, hell no. That was very scary.
Later on, that's coming down here. That's going over to the positive of the 16 volt side. Off to the amplifiers it is. So the truck's going to get 14 something. The amp rack's going to get it 16 something, just like I planned. So let's fire this thing up. I'll show you guys what I'm working with. Then I'll take all this contraption apart, bring it over to the lift, and run it all nice, including some sky-high 4-aught cable from the back to the front, or I should say from the front to the back. So that 12 volt battery is staying up front, and that's going to be real nice because when I go to turn the starter, it's not going to pull all the juice through that step-down box. It's just going to pull it off the battery. And as soon as I cut the key off, I'm going to use this old solenoid. It's 150 amps.
Mm-hmm.
Basically a big fat relay. And I'm going to separate the 16 volt side from the 14 volt side. That way they're not interacting all night long on each other, and the smaller side is pulling the bigger side down. They're just cut off. I'm going to turn the key on, As soon as I do that, this thing's gonna get triggered. And these two posts right here are gonna engage, and they're all gonna play together nice, and everything's gonna be good. And as soon as I'm done and I shut it off, they disengage, and they're their own separate units. So it's sort of like a battery isolator. That's actually what it's doing. That's gonna be coming up as I mount the step-down box somewhere in the vehicle. You'll see that soon. So before I start it, just to kind of show you what's happening.
Yes, sir, Elvis.
We got.
So that relay basically is keeping the 12-volt side and the 14-volt side from touching each other all night long, even through the step-down modules. Because what will happen is, while that caddy is sitting in the garage or in the shop overnight, the 12-volt battery is going to pull all the 14-volt batteries down to their level, and that's going to be pretty useless. And they're going to be hard to charge. They're going to be like really a 14-volt battery that's at 12 volts is like having a 12-volt battery that you brought down to 10. You know, even though they're lithium, it's still not that good of an idea. I have no idea how good the Stinger batteries are. Sorry, never tried them.
And we got 12.8 on this side. Truck's not running, obviously. So let's start it up, see what we got. So as you can see, that little battery light right there isn't that big of a deal. It's just kind of over there.
Again, I turned that off.
Sweating that too much.
Again, I figured that out. The battery light isn't on anymore. I was ready to deal with it in the name of car audio, like all of us did have to at some point. But I figured it out, so it's all good. And MechMan actually has a little snap-on product that, not the name brand Snap-on, but something that actually snaps on. That's a little nicer than what I did.
An older AGM excess power D4800 that's in there right now. My idle voltage should be higher than that, around 13.8 to 14 or so.
Exactly, Shannon. Yeah, Shannon brings up a good point. I gotta stop talking while I'm talking. I gotta keep telling myself, hit pause. So sorry, that's very annoying when I'm on the screen talking that I'm trying to talk. But Shannon brings up a good point. That's very bad for the alternators too. It's not that great for the batteries. I don't think the lithium cares as much if it's a little bit low like that. The AGM definitely does not want to be down in 10 volts. That's not good. But you have to think it's not good for the battery, but it's really not good for your alternator to have to bring one of those back to life again from that far down. So good point, Shannon. Good looking out. That's right.
A bit lower than what it was when it was just sitting there. But it's okay because the truck only needs about 13 volts to run, and I don't care. The truck can have whatever it wants. As long as my system has the 16 volts that I want, then I'll be happy. And the reason I'm not pushing 17 volts to that thing like I really want to is because, well, I'm going to give you guys a little hint. This truck does not like anything higher than 15.7 volts. Want to know how I found out? I'll tell you. So I figured since I already had a battery light on and I'm bypassing the stock alternator wire, who cares? Let me put 16 volts on this thing and see what happens. And if it can take it, I'll just put another 14 volt battery underneath the hood, push 16 volts, and be done with it without the step downs. Well, here was my findings.
Trace, you're definitely right. I just want to point that out. There's a fine line between your battery being awesome and being trash.
I'm not going to do it right this second because I have this where I want it. But as I turn this, the external regulator will allow me to crank it up as high as I want, almost to 19 volts. So I don't want that.
And I'd like to point out my dirty fingernails in this video. You know, sometimes I'm a little self-conscious. No, those two look like they need to be trimmed a little bit too. Man, my nails grow fast, man. I don't know why. But, you know, my nails get a little dirty because I work. But not that long ago, there was a video that I did. I just trimmed my nails, and they were clean for the day because I took a shower that morning. Okay, so they didn't get them a chance to get dirty. And somebody said, and they were serious about it, this guy is a sissy. He don't even have working man hands. He probably hasn't worked a day in his life. Somebody had the nerve to tell me I haven't worked a day in my life because my fingernails were clean one day. So I can't fucking win the internet no matter what I do. What kind of shit is that? My nails weren't clean. My nails were too clean. But when they're dirty, I hear about how dirty they are.
Turning the truck up to 16 volts, it actually works.
Welcome to my life.
On the dash,
my internet YouTube.
16.3, right where those amps are about to cut off. So I was really happy. I'm taking photos of it. I'm like, wow, I'm going to send this to everybody. Check this shit out. And, well, I went to turn on my air conditioner, my fan, and the other accessories. so I can see what kind of amp draw I'm getting, and well, I didn't have any of that anymore. It all shut off. I was like, oh no, talk about shit in a biscuit. Well, I started turning the voltage back down again, and as soon as it hit 15.7-ish, everything came back on again. 15.8, it all cut off. 15.7, back on again. So the computer is like, nah, I ain't having it. So if anybody out there is a certified GM tech that knows so much about the electrical that they know how I can shut that light off and how I can make the air conditioner and all that work past 16 volts, let me know.
Yep. Okay. Again, the battery light is taken care of, but man, I would really love to find somebody that's so good at these vehicles. I don't know if there's a setting inside of HP tuners or not, because I have HP tuners. That's how my engine is even idling right now. It wouldn't even run right now if it wasn't tuned. But it'd be nice to get deep into those settings and tell the truck not to turn off at 16 volts. Then I could eliminate everything that you're seeing here tonight and just run at 16 volts and be happy. But if you hit 15.6, 15.7, be prepared, because your windows might not roll up anymore. You might have to like reboot the whole system. Gately had to do it. It's just, yeah, some things that had to be brought back to life. For me, I turned the voltage back down and everything came back. I was lucky. But other people, they had to like actually like go in there and like reflash the ECU. So
I'll make some more changes later. But for right now, that's where I'm at. So my amps, they cut off at about 16.3. They go into protect. And, well, the truck cuts off at 15.7. Hey, you just found that out from me. All right, so I got this ready to go, the TM1. And we're monitoring this box. It's not monitoring yet because I unhooked it. So
okay, so
all right, so we're running about.
I know I was doing a lot of talking, but just to let you know right now, this box is supplying the vehicle with its juice. So everything is running out of the caddy into the box, and it's running back to the caddy and then running the actual caddy itself. So everything's bypassed, so I can see how what's going to all happen. And like I said, another thing I was talking over myself while I was talking, but this is supposed to be over 14 volts out when it's all done. But for some reason, with a 12 volt battery as a buffer, it puts out less than that. It's like 13 something when the car is running. Sometimes even lower than that. But the car doesn't seem to mind, and then the rest of it is doing what it's supposed to do. I think it's because, I have a hunch that it's because the caddy isn't, if that lithium battery is full, it's not like sucking a lot of juice and demanding a lot, so it's not like supplying. Because I know that once it starts getting demanded, it starts to rise up a little bit. But I don't know why. But hey, it works. It's a little bit lower than I wanted it to. But it works
About
good.
13.4. The box is on. Fan's already turning because I got it set for 80 degrees. So this thing's going to start cooling down as soon as it starts seeing 80 degrees and slowly ramp itself down if it's not. If I want to turn that voltage up a little bit, okay, so now the vehicle itself is getting 14.2 volts.
Yeah, I just had to turn up the voltage regulator a little bit.
On that side, we got
Okay.
a respectable 16.5 over here.
And this is what it's supposed to be doing. So 16.5 at the amps, 14 something at the battery box.
If you watch my previous videos, you'll see this bank a little bit better. But I'll show it to you a little bit. So there's 5.
Hey, I'm stopping this video to say, see you later, Elvis. Thanks for joining me for the time that you did. It's only been a couple of minutes. One video and almost 2 full videos, but I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much.
Excess power, Titan 8, S6 is back there. Batteries, they like it. The amplifiers, they go into protect at about 16.3, so I have to back this down to about 16.2, which means
I actually ended up getting it modded by Tony and Juan, so they don't go off until about 16.5 now.
that voltage has to come down, but it's okay. Somewhere in the 13s is more than enough for the vehicle, as long as I get this. And I'll have that knob inside the vehicle, so if I feel compelled to put 14.9 to the vehicle and 17 to the back battery bank without the amplifiers on so they won't go into protect, just give them a really good charge, I can do that. So I think we're gonna be good to go. Right now, got the truck running, the headlights are on, and there's the amperage it's pulling. Let's turn everything in the vehicle on and let this box warm itself up and cool itself down. So I'm gonna turn the AC on.
Better get on that, Sean. My brother. Okay, so I'm gonna try to get that. I'm gonna turn all this shit on again and see what kind of amperage the truck is pulling through that box.
Make sure all the fans are kicking up front. Okay, so the AC is on. You can hear it.
This time I think I did the back too. I don't, if I remember right.
Turn these heated seats on.
Heated seats and AC, guys. We're trying to tax that box.
All right, 64 amps.
Hell yeah, Shane.
Let's turn the rear air on.
And the defroster. And
Both defrosters are both on right now.
I don't know how much more I can turn on.
Woo, 103 amps. That's every single thing I can think of on.
It's going to go up higher than that because the fans on the radiators kick on and things like that too.
We're just going to let this box do its thing. It reached 90. Fans blowing hard.
Adam, I got LED headlights, so yeah, they're on bright, probably.
Should just stabilize this.
But
I'm just going to leave all this stuff on.
they don't use that much.
Matter of fact, I never use the rear defroster, and I don't really know if it's going to bubble up my tin or not, so I'm going to turn that part off. There we go.
That defroster was.
This box can take it, but this would be the craziest scenario I probably would have this truck in. About 90 amps. It actually was about 96 amps when I had that battery hooked up when I was testing earlier. So that thing might be on its way out. Plus batteries are a load anyways. But there we go, look at that. We're holding steady. In case you don't know, the TM1 is monitoring the temperature on the box and is slowly ramping the fan up as it gets hotter. So the hotter it gets, the more that fan turns. And I chose 80 degrees as my main mark. So right now it's pretty much probably about 85%. I'll adjust that as time goes, but for me, I don't mind it being on. It'll be underneath the truck.
No
I don't mind it kicking
TVs.
on as soon as the vehicle's running.
That is the most random shit. He said, "No TVs." Hey, you're my bro, El Loco, man. I do love and appreciate you, but that is so random. No TVs where? In the Escalade? There's the TV that drops down. I mean, I don't know. I don't need a bunch of TVs in there.
As you can see, I turned the amplifiers on. They are class A/AB. They use juice just being on.
Okay, we're gonna go back since this is an AMA. We'll explain it down with DB. We've already talked about this a couple of times. My old Tahoe can charge at 17, no problem. This one, 15.5, 15.6, it shuts down all the vital stuff in the truck, and it really makes your butt cheeks pucker. So yeah, you can't do that with this one. I don't know what year yours is, but my Tahoe's an 01, and yeah, I can do what I want with that thing, but not this one.
So they're doing a little bit of pulling over here as well. I'm right at 16.33. I know one of these amps will probably go into protect soon if I keep it up like that. So I'm going to back this down to 16.2. Something like that should be good. They'll like it. And like I said, I can turn that knob and bring these batteries up to something a lot higher. Give them a really good charge when I need to. But they're doing great at 16 volts anyways. They won't need a lot more than that. And we're just letting this thing do what it does. 90 amps, it's trying to reach 100 degrees.
The fan ain't letting it.
I spent the last 4 or 5 days doing what I'm showing you right now, doing all the testing. I'm not so sure I gotta spend all day doing this and film every moment. I just really want to let you guys know what I've been up to, what kind of testing I've been doing. This Escalade is doing great. Everything that I've been doing, I let this thing run for like 5 hours. I let it idle for 5 hours and watch those temperatures. It didn't get past 100, and it was kind of warm out the other day. So this thing can get up past 150 and be just fine. Those modules are rated to go up to 300. So if that box is sitting at 100, 120, on its hottest day 140, but that fan is moving air and it's someplace else besides the engine compartment, it should do great. So the caddy is getting ready to go over on the lift. I gotta start thinking about running some wire. I'm gonna make a badass little bracket on my fiber laser for that little step down module.
Stuart says, do you miss doing builds? I don't know. How long's it been since I've done a build? A month? I mean, I don't know. I work on stuff still. I just haven't done anything big because I got big plans. I've been taking stuff apart. I've been working on things, but I don't miss something that I still do. It's not like I quit doing builds. I have a business to run, and it's hard to like open up all 4 doors and work on things. But I have some big stuff that's getting ready to happen. There's going to be some fun builds real soon. We just did some work on KK's truck recently.
Should be kind of cool. You know what? Before I end this video, I'm going to pull the optical cable out of the Escalade and bring it out to the amp rack. See if those needles even get to moving. They should. This thing's basically self-contained. It just needs a signal and some positive and negative from the front, which it has right now. So while I'm showing you how rigged up my truck is, we'll just pull off some panels here and not care.
This is how I got my signal.
Nav TV GM650 all tucked away. I got a nice little remote wire right there, tucked away, ready to go. I did this install a while ago in anticipation of this build. So I've got a optical cable right here coming off of that. That thing right there is connected to the factory head unit, and I'm getting as clean of a signal as you possibly can get. Flat, clean, unequalized, non-bows, ready to go. And
non-bows.
Red dot. That's tunes.
Yes. Yep. Josh, she does. So you guys are hearing my system, but the stock system is playing still because I haven't put none of this stuff in yet. But the stock system can still play, and that optical is coming off that GM650. So from the GM650, I'm going to run it over here and just get these needles moving. But what you're actually hearing is the stock stuff for now until I actually put the stuff in. We talked about the DJF earlier, Ole. I still have it. Okay, for those that are new and didn't catch the amp rack build, the top 2 amps are bass amps. They're 2 channels, but they're bridged. And then you have the bottom left is the first 2 channels are the tweeters. Channels 1 and 2 are all the tweeters, and I think that they're at 8 ohms. And the next channels are my 3-inch mids, and those are at 10 ohms. One of them's at 8, one of them's at 10. One of the, or vice versa, I forget which one. But let's just say the tweeters are at 8, the 3s are at 10 ohms, and these 6.5s are on the second amp, all 4 channels, and I believe those are sitting at 4 ohms. So my system is really effortless and clean. The top ones are at 1.33 ohms or something like that. I forget exactly what they are. But they're all playing, when those needles get to moving, you can actually see what song is being played just by watching the needles, because you got your highs ticking on the left, your 3-inch mids ticking on the ones next to those, and then the 6.5s are doing their own motion, and of course the bass kicks in. So that's kind of how those work. The box not even getting hot
Nope,
at all.
At all. Yeah. We good.
Sorry, CRX, I don't offer that service, but hit up Bobby Gately and tell him that that's what you want. He'll do it. For sure. He'll do it better. He'll do it better.
Here in about a minute, this thing should be down to 80, and that fan should be almost not turning at all. And it's all working as planned so far. So for some reason, this video doesn't look like a lot of progress to you. In my world, it kind of is, because I have to test this stuff. I have to make sure it works. This is scary. You know what I mean? Messing up my Escalade is not something I want to do. So far, so good. We're still surviving. The fan's down there. I heard it ramping down a little bit. And things are going to be moving along real fast, real soon.
Hey, we got video 3.
That amp rack is ready to go.
Let's do video 3. That way we can knock out this high-low voltage thing and then move on to the door panels on the next one.
Everything is pretty much ready to go. It's just testing to make sure it works, and then put it in, and all of a sudden it should be playing real soon. Before I end this video, I'm going to drop this door down, turn the LEDs on this amp rack, and get it all playing one last time. Then back to the lift it goes.
You guys got to see.
Cables running from the front to the back, then the amp rack can go in, and then hopefully the box.
You guys got to see what I do with this box for it to make sense. If you didn't see what I did during the build, you have to see. If you've watched this whole video so far, you got to see where it actually goes and how it works before I button up for the videos for tonight. Let me get some likes for that.
One last shot of this, if you're not familiar. The last video I showed you how I built it.
Thank you, Shane.
This box has 6 excess power 993 step-down modules in it. And it's wired inside and fan cooled.
Yeah, we gotta run video 3. Look at those needles all moving at different paces. Tweeters, 3s, 6.5s, and 12s.
Subscribe. We got the goods coming soon. I'm out.
Thank you, Shannon. Do I still use my dash speakers? No. I do not. All that shit's cut off. I only use the speakers that you'll see in the doors if you haven't seen the original build yet. Let's jump over to the next one, you guys. Let's do it. We got one more to go. Oh, that's a nice little shot of my positive and negative right there. There we go. Let's go. Let's finish this up. Now eventually I turn this into a 400 amp alternator, so it's not 370 anymore. Yep, all the testing is complete. I must have did this for days. Yeah, Sky High. Shout out to John at Sky High, Tony and Juan at DeMore Engineering, all the fellows at MechMan. Excess power. You know we do it. I don't really think anything of it, man. I don't know anything about it, good or bad. So, yeah, I can't tell you either way, brother. Sorry. I only run excess power. I'm sure there's other brands out there, but I don't run them. Yeah. Here we go with the cardboard again. Everything's always made out of cardboard first. Hey, look, I'm consistent. I even said it at the top. Okay, so this right here, in case you guys don't know, I'm going to pause that. You can get these at Harbor Freight. And this is a drill and tap all in one. That's not always going to be ideal for tapping everything that you do. A lot of times you need to drill a hole and then tap. But for this right here, it's worked out real good. And I use these all the time. If you've got a hollow steel frame, you can drill right into it. Get your thread pattern. This is 5/16 by 18. I believe the thread pattern is, and I have tons of those bolts here at the shop, or at my shop, not here at the house. And then, of course, this thing you're looking at right now was made of cardboard first. Once I'm happy with it, like I explained earlier, then I'm going to turn this little splash pan into stainless steel, and we'll cut that on the laser.
It's already threaded. Harbor Freight for the win.
When it comes to alternators, is bigger always better? I would say no, because if you don't need a 400 amp alternator, you shouldn't put one in your car, because your idle and everything else your idle power is going to be a little different, and you might not even be able to turn that thing depending on your car. Like the belt might not be able to handle it. So you have to do what's appropriate, and if you want more juice and you need more juice, you'll have to modify your car in many cases. So you can't, like on a V-belt, you wouldn't want a 400 amp alternator on that. It's just going to squeal and burn the belt up. So yeah, 400, I mean, you can never have too much. It doesn't hurt unless you're drawing more than your belt can handle. And also like your engine idle power is going to be a lot lower. If you have a 200 amp alternator, 250, 300, your at idle is going to be a lot nicer than the bigger ones. Yep. If you're just now showing up, this is made of cardboard, but only temporary. Steve made this shit out of cardboard. It might rain on it and get it wet. See, like, little stuff like that. I'm going to back that up a little bit. See that little notch right there? So this little notch is a great reason why it's made of cardboard, because I cut that with scissors. I didn't take into account this little piece of metal was in the way. So you find this stuff out when you make it out of cardboard. You make your changes. You cut around things. You might have to cut it out of cardboard 3 or 4 times until you get it right. And then you get it just the way you want it, and then you go straight for the metal, the more expensive stuff. That goes for acrylic or stainless or aluminum or anything. Cardboard is awesome. Look at this. This is all cardboard. Look at all the dog hair on the back of my shirt. Thanks, baby. I didn't even realize it until I watched my videos. Got a little bit of 16 gauge stainless here. Hell yeah, he said that shit goes hard on cardboard. It does. Came out good. Yes, sir, Dan. You know the deal. You know what I'm talking about. Now keep in mind when you're looking at this stainless shit, the way that I'm cutting through it, no problem. If you were to take a drill bit and try to drill through this, it's only 16 gauge. You would have a hard time. You'd be fighting it. Stainless is no joke. It's one of the hardest ones to work with, I think. You know, just me drilling it, and then I tapped some holes in a few things. You know, you might break your tap easily. It's hard to drill through, but the laser don't care. Hey, there's that little notch. You guys see the little notch? I did that with scissors. I wouldn't have known that. I would have cut this piece out and totally ruined the whole piece. You ain't getting no snips in just cutting that. I'd probably have to put it back in the laser and notch it out. See, the box still ain't done yet. Almost. Hey, who's gonna join me for the door panels? We're gonna do those next. The mids and highs. We're not doing that tonight, but that's gonna be coming up next. Because that one was scary. The door panels are the ones that scared me the most. You know, while we're reminiscing over all this stuff, and I'm going over all the old stuff I did, this was one of the scarier ones. I actually bought brand new door panels and put them aside in case I shanked my stock door panels. I was so scared that I was going to ruin my truck. And because there's no going back once you make that first cut. So, but I never had to use them. I still have them. But yeah, I cut some pretty big holes out of those. This acrylic here, I don't remember. I think it's like triple stacked 1/4 inch or something like that. It's layered, or there might be some 3/8 in there. Oh, right up, Painkiller. Thank you, man. I got you. Cool. What's the name of the acrylic? It's already been talked about a bunch of times. It's the I don't even remember. Weld on number 4 or whatever the hell it's called. It's acrylic solvent. I showed it a bunch of times. This will make sense in a second. Hey, right on, Dan. Let me know. I'll be here for you when you're ready. Appreciate you, brother. And I know this is an impact and not a regular drill, but I love that impact so much, I just use it. It's not impacting right now anyways. It's just free turning. I don't use it to do any tapping. Well, I do when I go through the steel. I like it for those bigger ones going through the steel. So right now we're giving this some nice threads so this can hold that battery down, or that step down box I should say. It's a lot of work involved here, you guys. And I'm filming all this while I'm doing it, so you have to imagine how much work it is, and then take into account I'm stopping every 5 minutes and stopping less than 5 minutes and aiming the camera. Now, this is my magnetic brake. Talked about this a little bit earlier as well. This brake runs off 220. As soon as I hit the foot pedal, that top metal plate clamps on really hard. Ooh, see? Yeah, you can learn something from Uncle Steve. Get your notepads out. Cardboard for the win. Let me get a little bit of love, because I'm just experiencing this with you guys. It's been a long time since I saw these videos, and I'm getting all giggly. Well, the brake is manual. The YB, the brake is manual, but not the clamping part. That's electric.
Stainless steel, super strong.
That shit is, yeah.
Really sturdy. Now it's all that's left to do is to screw the step-down module onto it. Start running wires.
Hey, since this is an AMA, I answer most questions. I'll go ahead, even though it's not on topic, but Woodbound wants to know what happened to my Acrylic guy's system. Who here can answer that question for him? And if you don't answer it correctly, I'll finish it up for you. But how is Jared's system doing right now? Anybody want to tell him? Does anybody in here even know? Yep. YB, you're the man. Okay, so you guys saw that triple stack piece of acrylic that I made that the battery is sitting in, right? If you're paying attention, you can kind of see, if you look at the fine details, those holes that you saw me tap into that's where these Allen bolts are bolting into right now. So these are holding that battery onto that, or holding that tray onto that acrylic. And the battery itself is bonded to that tray now. I don't think I showed that part, but it's bonded to the tray. So it's not loose. It's not going to come out. So we're tapped and threaded, and we're bolted from the bottom, all stainless. Anthony, in Chicago, this would not get rusted out real quick. That's why I use stainless, brother. You can use, Mr. K-Dog, you can use my fuse blocks for marine. I would recommend using aluminum, though, because copper out in the marine environment is going to turn like a penny real quick. It'll still be just as good, but it'll be brownish. We use the aluminum ones for marine applications. I would. Hey, John Anderson. Shout out to John Anderson. Hey, I'm going to pause this video just for John Anderson, because I only said that what he just said. He actually got, his car got wrecked, and they weren't going to give him but a couple thousand for his car because it's an older Altima. But I did all that work to it, so I gave him a very detailed list of everything I did and how much I would charge to put it back in, and he ended up getting almost $18,000 back. So yeah, he got a free system. He got to drive his car around for 3 years with that system in it. Someone rear-ended him at 100 miles an hour, totaled his car. They weren't going to give him shit. And, you know, that system wasn't free. I might have gave it to him for free, but, you know, I filmed it, and I paid for all the equipment. I sucked up all the labor. I did it all. So I didn't lie about anything. I didn't exaggerate nothing. You know, I mean, I spent weeks just on the amp rack alone. So, yeah, hey, he got a lot of money out of it, and he's happy, but he's not happy he doesn't have his system anymore. That sucks. But he didn't get a couple G's like they were trying to give him. So I think they might have been trying to give him like $1,500 or something like that. So shout out to John for paying attention. I only said that once, now twice. Yeah. How many of you guys got an SK1? SK1's available at WC Car Audio. They're all numbered, and I signed the paper part. This is my front battery.
put this thing in, I checked the voltage and it was a little bit low. It was in the low 12, which I figure is probably pretty normal since it's a lithium battery and they can't ship them fully charged or something maybe, I don't know. All right, I put this thing on the charger at 12.2 volts and I couldn't even get over to my coffee cup and back. It was like 5 minutes and this thing had already filled itself to the top and it's full. So no complaints so far with this Titan 8. Yeah.
None. No complaints. All right, Ron. Thank you for checking in, my brother. Catch you on the next one, hopefully. Okay, so now we're taking the AGM out of the front. We're putting the lithium up front. That's what's happening right currently. And the other 5 lithium batteries will be in the back on the amp rack. Okay, so the funny part is this battery right here is still live and kicking, and I actually have a gate on our property, an opening gate on my driveway, and this is the battery I use to open up the swing arms, so because it's automatic, and yeah, it's still. I didn't want to use those shitty little batteries that they tell you to buy, those little tiny motorcycle batteries that you can buy for the arm kit for the iron gates. So I use the AGM and it's great. Hell no, Killer 32620.
What do we got here on the Titan?
Hey, what up, Effie? From Turkey?
10 pounds.
Baseman 420, real quick. That battery's been in the snow for 2 years straight. And all the cold weather. I have snow. We live in the forest, up halfway up the mountains, Sierra Nevada mountains, in the foothills, and we get snow. It's been buried in snow. It works fine. Worked all winter long. So let me get back to this because I want to show you the difference. Now this battery is 48 pounds. Look at the difference between the 48-pound AGM and the lithium.
What do we got here on the Titan? 10 pounds.
£10 compared to 48.
Out with the old, in with the new. Hi, baby.
Baby!
Hey.
Yeah. That's my baby. That's daddy's love right there. Well, it's lighter because it's a lithium battery. It's not full of liquid. Different technology. It's not full of lead.
What an absolute joy that is to put in.
It's a lot of, hey, all the work that you guys have seen for the last hour since we've been on, and we're still not hooked up yet. We still got wiring to do. Oh, almost saw butt crack. No butt crack. I'm always conscious of the butt crack. You guys don't know how many times I edit that shit out of my videos. Like, damn, dude, have some fucking manners. Have some shame. Hey, when you're bent over in an engine compartment, you never know what you're going to get. He said pixelate that crack. That's a lot of work, man. I just edit it out. If it's an important part of the video, I might have to pixelate, though. Right on, Jonathan. Thanks for the binge. Love it. Yeah, this lift was like one of the first things I bought when I got my shop 14 years ago. I bought it brand new, had it put in. This is some 4-aught Sky High right here.
We'll run some Sky High 4-aught OFC, juice up the back battery bank.
Hey Brett, it's the best. It's one of the best investments I ever made. With my greasy sweats. It's a little something in the background there. You see all those tanks? So, for those of you that don't know, just to explain something a little, the fiber laser that cuts metal, when I'm cutting regular steel, I use oxygen, which is the smaller tanks to the right. When I'm cutting stainless, it's the bigger tanks, the 300s to the left. And I push about between 200 and 250 pounds of pressure, sometimes up to 300 pounds of pressure when I'm running those through that laser nozzle. That's what it takes to cut through that stainless shit. Oxygen is at like 6 pounds of pressure when I'm cutting regular steel. I cut 1/4 inch steel at like 7 pounds of pressure, but 16 gauge stainless, 200 pounds. 12 gauge stainless, 250 pounds. I could go through a tank so fast it'll be ice cold and frosty like my old 40-ounce beer back in the 80s and 90s. Nope, I got an 8-speed transmission in the caddy. And it's all been upgraded because I broke my caddy and had to do all that. I got like a $12,000 transmission in this truck. Fully rebuilt and fucking badass. Yeah, the engine is 100% forged, balanced, blueprinted, everything. Transmission is all done. Turbos, everything. Nope, no used DD1 pluses right now. No one ever returns those. Alright, so what you're looking at here, first thing I do is I'll go down there and I'll check and make sure there's nothing in the way. And then I throw that little ice pick. It's called an awl, to be honest. I give it my all. So I'll go there and I'll poke a little hole, and then I'll look. Now I'll really go down there and look and make sure everything's looking good. And then you come through with the hole saw. You don't have to do it that way. That's just how I do it. You don't know what you're drilling into. It could be a problem. Okay, so this is some heat shield. Nothing's really too close to any exhaust pipes, but I used it on anything that was anywhere near it, even though it'd probably be fine. But you can see I'm bending the corner right in that same little area. I don't know. If you have 1,000 watt, I don't know. I'd always do the big 3. Whether or not you got to use 2 watt or 4 gauge. I mean, you're gonna. I would. You don't got to go too crazy with it if you're under 1,000 watts, and you can get away with not doing it. But out of the principality of the situation, I probably would. Especially since you're gonna want more later, guaranteed. Do it all now. Look at this cable, you guys. You don't realize how thick that cable is till you see me working with it. Look at that. It's like fire hose. Bigger than a garden hose. Not fire hose, that's exaggerating, but bigger than a garden hose for sure. Yep. Keep it clean. Keep it safe. Now back over to the box, because what we're trying to do is wire the box up and run the runs to the back. So the reason I used the block that we talked about in the previous video, like I did, is because I wanted to have the two threaded holes on it ready to go. So what's happening is the alternator is coming into this box and it's hitting this block right here, and from there it's also going straight back to the amps. But on the inside of this box, it's grabbing that electricity that's coming through that block, and it's running it through the step down modules, and from the step down modules it's popping out the top of the battery, and the top of the battery is what the truck itself is getting. So this is just a distro block, so the alternator can feed the amps and the batteries in the back, and the rest of it is going to the truck. Well, welding, Enrique, most welding wire is going to be OFC. Most of it is, if it's any good. Now here's the relay, the solenoid I was telling you guys about. Okay, so if you missed the last episode where I talked about this solenoid right here, I do not want my 14-volt batteries in the back interacting with the 12-volt battery in the front all night long, and then having the 12-volt battery bring that whole bank down. So when I turn the key, it triggers this thing and it lets the front batteries and the step-down box talk to each other. And the step-down box feeds that 12-volt battery at the top. So when it's running, everything is the way it's supposed to be. As soon as I cut the engine off, that 12-volt battery in the front and the 14-volt batteries in the back, they don't see each other anymore. They're not connected anymore. So that's the reason why I did that. Yeah, welding cable's alright. Nothing wrong with that. It's just might not be as flexible, might not have as many strands, but it'll work.
Going on the maiden voyage. We got one battery in the back, but all the wire is ran. I got a little temporary wire right here.
Yeah, okay, so what I did in the back, I'm going to be running 14-volt batteries. If you didn't catch the earlier episode with the amp rack, there's 5 14-volt batteries in the back. But for my testing purposes, what I'm doing right now, before I put that amp rack in here, is I put a 14-volt battery, just an AGM in the back. And I'm driving around for a little while and making sure that the back, like the car, when I start the car, it's starting, everything's working off the front, but the back is charging also. So everything is all dependent on this battery has to be in the system.
So I can drive around a little bit and watch the temperature of the step-down box. I'm going to see how this entire thing acts while it's really being driven. Like I said, all the wires are in the car, so this isn't an outside the car test, it's an inside the car test. We're going to be full lithium here pretty soon with the amp rack.
The whole playlist
and after that
is in the description.
Start thinking about some sounds.
So I didn't just test this outside the vehicle and then put it in and go. I tested it.
We're just temporarily monitoring right now until I get the real stuff in here.
I drove around with this setup like this for weeks before I put the amp rack in. And I just let it do what it does and watch the temperature of that box on the front. I'm so worried about that box. We talked about redundancy in the last video. The one regret I have is that I didn't add a second fan that I can kick on if there's a problem. Because if that fan somehow it dies or a rock hits it, hopefully a rock won't hit it, but you never know. Something happens to that fan, I'm going to be, I'm going to be in trouble. So I need to add some redundancy.
But the fan on the step down.
So far so good. 2 years later though.
About 90.
I gotta hit pause because I don't like talking while I'm talking, but 2 years straight, no problems at all. So, I just want to make sure that I'm safe.
And from there, it'll just ramp up as it gets hotter and cool itself back down again. Let's take off and go see what happens. Alright, so we've been test driving, checking everything out, making sure the temperature on that step down box is good, making sure the voltage is good, front and back, and so far so good. The box is only, look at this right here, we're at 100 degrees. So sitting still,
You can see it.
for a long period of time, it got up to about 130. inside of the box. As soon as you start driving, it cools down 10 degrees almost instantly, and after about 10 minutes on the freeway, it's down 30 degrees. So from 100 to 130, just like that. So I'll have to try it out when it gets a little hotter in Sacramento. But for now, everything's looking and working great. That'll work. And back at the shop after I've been driving for about 50 miles. Shut her off. 14-volt battery sitting at 15.4,
Optimal, nice.
which is really nice. And let's head up to the front, see what the lithium is doing.
Trace, we talked about this a couple times. The fans do have a fan curve.
13 volts.
They ramp up from 0 to 100 as they get hotter, as the temperature rises.
That little drive we just took is about as successful as I could hope for.
Thank you, Enrique.
All right, took this thing on a long journey yesterday. Hit the highway, watched the temps. At least on the fan box up front. This thing back here shouldn't have been getting hot at all. But
No.
14-volt battery in the back, charging
Look at that.
16 plus,
Look at that wire.
and normal voltage up front for the truck. Everything was just stupendously awesome. I'm happy. I just need to put the amp rack in here now, and instead of having this AGM 14-volt battery, we're going all lithium. Gonna drop the rest of the lithiums in here and drive it around for a little while, see how it acts. Then we're gonna be ready to start mounting everything down, wiring it up.
Yeah. All right, you guys, that's about it for tonight. I appreciate everybody checking in and sticking with me for how long were we on? An hour? Maybe a little bit more. It's fun. I like talking to you. I like explaining all the little stuff that I'm doing. Because I know that I don't fully explain everything the way that, I mean, there's so much editing involved that, and so much work while I'm filming involved. It's hard to like explain every little thing. So running through these videos and telling you what's going through my mind, what's going through my head at the time, things that I would have changed, how things actually turned out in the future. Like if you know me, you know this caddy's been done for a couple of years, but I'm running through these builds and being able to talk about how the caddy's acting right now. Like literally the caddy's, it's in my driveway. You know, I drive it. So letting you guys know how it's acting after all these years is a great thing. How everything turned out. I want to do a couple of new things. I want to change a few things. I want to add some safety precautions, but for the most part, everything's good. But yeah, thanks for chilling out with me for the last hour. The next time I go live, it's going to be tomorrow or the next day. I'm not sure, but we're going to pick up over here on the mids and highs. We're going to start cutting the door panels apart. We got about 3 or 4 videos worth of that. The amp rack going in. We got a whole display going in underneath the center console with all my LEDs. Should be fun. But again, thanks for chilling with me. It was a fun little night. It's almost my bedtime because I got to go to the shop in the morning. For right now, I'm out. Peace. Have a good one.